Yeah, now attention and focus currently shifting over to the location of the Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, who, as has been declared by the US President, has been captured by the US along with his wife. They've been flown out, as has been confirmed by Donald Trump himself on the Truth Social post. But more importantly, the Venezuelan Vice President now demanding proof of life of the Venezuelan President. Remember, this was on expected lines. They have declared national emergency, and even as we speak, the Venezuelan government so far, which is already in shambles, has reached out to the socialist base of Nicolás Maduro, asking them to in fact now mobilize and galvanize support for Nicolás Maduro and speak out against what the Venezuelan government is calling an imperialist attack by the United States. But all of that, how has this happened? Let's break it down for you as we bring you the entire map of Venezuela. These are the crucial locations where America struck in the wee hours at 2 a.m. local time, remember, is when the strikes actually happened. You're looking at the La Guaira port, which is Venezuela's main seaport. This is where one of the strikes happened. You're also looking at an air base in Miranda State. This is the Higuerto airport. Then you are looking at Puerto Tuna, the main military base in Caracas. And then you're also looking at La Carlota, which is the primary air base in the capital. So clearly it is the military installations which have been targeted by the US airstrikes which took place at 2 a.m. As far as Caracas is concerned, it's a valley, and all the eyewitness accounts that are trickling in, the journalists sharing their experience, are all saying that there's a level of frantic panic which has completely gripped the Venezuelan capital. Remember, these were late night US airstrikes. Much of the build-up had already begun in a 5-month pressure campaign that has been embarked upon by Washington since August of last year, where they've been accusing Venezuela and its president of conducting drug trafficking in Venezuelan waters in the Caribbean, and also of smuggling drugs into the United States, along with Venezuelan gang members that are also operating out of US soil. Nonetheless, important to also talk about the US National Security Strategy, which was released in November of 2025, that also talks about how no non-hemispheric players will be allowed by the United States to operate in the hemisphere. And clearly, as we all know, that the South American country has very much been a point of focus for the United States at the moment. And so the presence of Russia, China, Iran, Cuba, all of them was currently rattling the United States. US has, of course, been threatened by the Iranian presence also in Venezuela. According to their national security strategy, Iran was also using Venezuela as a base for Hezbollah. They were also issuing blank passports for various terrorists, but these are again claims being made by the United States. One cannot rule out the fact that Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. This could also be a potential cause of conflict between Washington and Caracas. Not to forget the strategic location of Venezuela in the Caribbean. You're looking at it. The ports are in fact at a very strategic location in the transit route to, say, the Panama Canal. And so Venezuela is very much right now under the scanner for the United States. What happens next, given that there's already an economic collapse confronting the entire country? There's hyperinflation. The cost of living has completely skyrocketed. You're looking at expensive food and medicines. Venezuelans do not know where to go. But in the months that have finally now been confronting Venezuela, where we've seen that the US has now captured their president along with his wife and flown him out, Venezuela currently in a state of complete chaos and anarchy.